Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Denise Parker, and I'm your host for this tonight's special time of Elevate Your Game. It's not at our normal time on Thursdays at 5:30. Today, we're doing something different. We're shaking things up. We are going to hear from some young people because it's important. All the things that we do at National College Resources Foundation matters, and it matters mostly to the people who we're getting into college, into early careers, and helping them go beyond. Again, I'm your host, Mrs. Denise Parker. I'm the Director of Internships and Careers at NCRF. And like I said, we have tons of opportunities, tons of resources, and we're here to serve you. So before we go any further, I want to bring on my special guest, who's also my co-hosting assistant slash just everything. Ms. Faith, where are you at? Where she's at? She is right here. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day today. So,
A little
we
louder.
oh, I'm so sorry. But welcome to Elevate Your Game. We're going to get into some announcements, see what we have for you guys today.
Excellent announcements. Okay.
Alrighty. So, if you don't know, for those of that watched last week, you should. Well, April is Autism Awareness Month, and so we're going to give you an autism awareness fun fact. And so this week, our fun fact is that research has shown that dogs are linked to improve the quality of life in autistic children, helping with their aggressive behavior and promoting independence and safety. And the top dog breeds for families with children with autism are Golden Retrievers, St. Bernard, Labradoodle, Collie, and German Shepherd. Fun fact about all of these dogs, they are not the easiest to train, but they're pretty simple to train. And they're very family friendly. So all of these dogs are great for kids, regardless, autism or not. But specifically, they can help with a lot of the needs that come with autistic children.
And I bet that those dogs are very calming, or pets are in general, domestic
They're
pets are very calming to
very
just
lively.
everybody. Hmm.
Um, these are the dogs you typically see in like TV shows when it comes to families that have pets like dogs. So they're very common puppies to have. Um, but yeah, they're very family friendly animals.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay, and going into our HBCU fun fact, as of June 2022, Morgan State is the only HBCU in the nation and one of two institutions in the state of Maryland to offer a bachelor's degree in actuarial science. Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland has announced a new partnership with Symetra Life Insurance to provide scholarships supporting 25 students pursuing a degree in actuarial science. The scholarship program will provide wraparound support for critical student needs such as housing, food, clothing, transportation, and other emergency funding that may be a barrier to degree completion. And for those of you that don't know, actuarial science goes into things like insurance adjusting. Um, so when you got to call Geico because you crashed your car, the people that work with insurance, um, or it could be life insurance or different realms of insurance, but they work in that industry. Um, so if you're looking for that kind of work and you don't know where to go, check out Morgan State.
Excellent. That's a wonderful career pathway. We're going to be having the National Black Actuaries Organization to join us in an Elevate Your Game sometime soon. And they're going to be speaking from their perspective on what an actuary actually does. Say that twice or three times. And also how actuaries make tons of money and they provide immense opportunities as far as leveling up in their careers. Most of them make up to six figures or more. And so this is a really, really good opportunity to share what the top 1% of Black of actuaries are, just 1% or less than 1%. So they want to actually increase more diversity in that career pathway. So I'm super excited. And on to the next.
Okay, so the Television Academy Foundation, my bad, is hosting a Power of TV event, and they will be discussing the climate change and how that can be shown on screen. This event is happening April 18th from 9 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. in Los Angeles, California. And so it is in person. If you do register, please note you must be in Los Angeles to attend. Um, but yeah, come out and see what it is that they want to see about climate change, specifically within the movies and TVs we're going to see coming out soon.
Mhm.
They are also hosting a virtual college television summit. So if you are unable to go to Power of TV, Virtual College Summit may be where you can go and get your into the Television Academy Foundation. It
Okay.
is for college students, please note. And so NCRF is hosting our football combine for high school and community college students April 28th through the 29th. So that is coming up in about 2 weeks, I believe. To register today, we have, I want to say it was over 40 recruiters from HBCUs, if I'm not
Yes, we actually have probably like over 40 HBCU recruiters for football to come and see. We just finished our basketball showcase this past weekend. It was phenomenal. The coaches were excited. They recruited over 100 applicants who actually came to showcase their basketball skills and talent. Over 100 got accepted on the spot with scholarship dollars and money. So all our events, we are always trying to promote college opportunities and to get money to the students. So definitely, if you're in the greater Los Angeles area, and or you can get to us, you can come and try out at our football combine coming up soon. Scan that QR code.
All right. And if you would like to join the NCRI family, we are hiring for our San Diego schools. We work with students under the age of 18 in high school. We're looking for someone who is, we are looking for someone who is strong in mentoring for English and math tutoring skills. You must live in San Diego territory. We are looking for someone to work in our San Diego schools. And so college students or recent grads are open to applying because again, you're going to be working with high school students. You're going to have that relatability factor, and that's amazing. And you must be able to pass a criminal background check because you will be around the kids. Alrighty, so On My Own program is hiring for their supported and independent living skills worker in LA County. This means that you will be providing training and support to individuals with intellectual disabilities. You will help them as they go on about working, making sure that they're safe, making sure that they're budgeting, making sure that they're really able to just thrive on their own with a little bit of assistance. This is available for high school graduates and college as well. Um, so if you have a high school diploma or higher, you're open to applying. They're looking for people who are patient, caring, and being bilingual helps just a little. You don't need to be bilingual, but it's a plus. So if this is something you think you're interested in, go ahead and scan the QR code. Okay, and if you are 16 years or older and looking to get into tech, Nevada Help Desk and Tech Support Services is offering training for a couple of fun programs, including cybersecurity, digital marketing, IT specialists, multimedia production, software engineering, front end web development, and much more. And with these, you can make up to six figures, and that also might just cover some of your tuition. Okay, and if you want to jumpstart your career in healthcare as a teen, as someone who is in college or someone who is in high school, there's a 4-day experience where you can receive coaching and learn healthcare basics. You can do mock clinical procedures, get CPR and first aid training. And so you scan that QR code. Spots are limited, so register ASAP. And it is in person in Atlanta. So when you are applying, please make sure that you are in the right location for it. Okay, Kaiser Permanente is having their population care management internship going on. So if you are in Venice, California, or the surrounding area, and are able to sign up and be willing to go in the office some days, be remote and at home some days, and you want to work in the healthcare industry, this is an opportunity you can take a look into.
Well, this is another awesome opportunity. I get a lot of job posts from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a huge resource if you guys are interested in learning more about networking and connecting to business leaders, recruiters, other collegiate professionals. You might want to join the LinkedIn network so that you can create your profile to get more information and it's similar to IG and Facebook. It's just a wonderful connecting tool, but it's used more for business, not for social, more for business. So if you're trying to be serious about your career pathway, serious about your college education, this is a great way to meet internship recruiters and also other educators and whatnots. Even your schools are on LinkedIn. It is kind of like your Handshake. If you guys have Handshake, it's very similar to that, but it's definitely more professional. So these are more for business professionals who are definitely from college and above, who are utilizing LinkedIn for all this. And because I am a huge LinkedIn supporter and I use it a lot to network with executives and recruiters, they send me a lot of stuff. So I get tons, I get 30, 40, 60 a day. So yes, there's tons of opportunities out there. It's just seeing if you can apply to them fast enough. Because once it goes on LinkedIn, a lot of people are applying. But this is our LinkedIn weekly spotlight internship. It is in healthcare. So we found something. Thank you.
Another thing to note about LinkedIn that a lot of college students don't take advantage of is when you join any type of organization or any type of club, a lot of them have LinkedIn pages as well, especially if they're nationwide organizations. So you can use that to network with people within your organization that aren't on your campus, as well as if you do any research opportunities or any internships, you can post about that and kind of build your own portfolio using LinkedIn. So you can use it very similar to social media, just know it's more on the business and career aspect.
Excellent. And I also want to highlight our new partner. We've talked about them last week. They're going to be joining us for a virtual very soon. It's our T Mobile partner. They have tons of opportunities, not just in sales and business, and they have internships. They have stuff that's marketing, you name it. So it's a major telecommunications business. This is a huge opportunity. After 90 days of receiving your employment, you do get full benefits, even if you're part time. Full benefits means healthcare, investment options, you name it. And also, they do tuition reimbursements to 9 schools that are pretty prominent. And if you don't choose one of those 9 schools or attending one of those 9 schools to receive tuition, or pay your tuition towards, they do also give some reimbursement in whatever school that you're going to, but it's not full reimbursement. So this is a huge opportunity. You can email me if you want more information. It's also on our website at www.thecollegeexpo.org. Under programs in internships and careers, click under the T-Mobile banner. So that is our spotlight for today. Well, it's time to welcome to our show. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know we had a lot of announcements, but we have a lot of things to share. So, what's our show about today, Faith? What do you think it's going to be about?
Today, we are tackling the age old thought that all juniors and seniors in college fear: what happens after this? What goes on after graduation? So, we're going to talk about, what you can do in terms of your career, what you can do in terms of continuing school, all the different options that you need to explore when you hit that mark in college.
You know what? I'm super excited about this conversation because I don't know about you. Well, you are still in college because you go to what school do you go to?
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, yeah, you'll see. You'll see. You'll see what school she goes to. I find it very difficult to have this conversation when you are in school. It's easier to talk about it way after and say, "Man, if I would have known back then, I would be a lot further off because I know exactly where I wanted to be." So let me introduce our special guest today. Let's bring them on. Let's bring them on. Let's see. I'm just going to pop you on the screen. You're just going to say hello. Say hello as I pop you on the screen. Say hello, Delia.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello,
Hello, how you doing?
Audrey.
How you doing?
Hey. And where's Miss Jordan? She disappeared. She disappeared. She's coming back. Oh, there she is. Oh, there's Jordan. Hello, Jordan. So shy, so shy. And then we have Tanisha Miles. Tanisha, say hello to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Well, this show is going to be amazing because we don't get to talk about what we don't get to hear from our students, right? We always just tell them what it is. And Tanisha, she's one of my colleagues at NCRF. You work in the College and Careers Committee. What is your role? What do you do exactly?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I oversee NCRF Students on the Move program, which is our virtual mentoring and tutoring platform. I also assist with dual enrollment, and I am a coordinator for the Centinela Valley Union High School District.
Yes. Yes. So what's the Students of the Move program? Because that's what we titled tonight's episode.
Yeah, so Students on the Move is where students can come hop on Zoom with their advisor and get assistance in tutoring for one and all subjects, but they can also get assistance with applying to college, transferring because we've now expanded to college students as well. And they can just get wraparound services through SEL, financial aid, scholarship assistance, and also just writing support as well too.
Exactly. And some of the questions that we have, we're going to that you and I deal with our young people, whether they're in high school, going into college, or college is seeking early careers and internships. We're going to talk about it. So I want you guys to kind of go around the room, introduce yourself one by one. Starting to my right is my assistant Faith, but go ahead and tell us who you are really, Faith, on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, I juggle so many hats. All right, so I'm going to start off as a student. I'm a third year psych major at Florida A&M, the highest of seven hills, the most illustrious, of course. Um, and I am currently holding the communications chair for the Association of Black Psychologists Student Circle. So I kind of try and gather that, get students more involved on a national level. Um, I think that's all the hats that I will take on for this week. Everything else can kind of wait till the semester's over.
Well, go ahead, fam. You, a psych major, Miss Faith Demby. Delia, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello. So, I'm actually a psych major, or I was a psych major. I graduated from Cal Poly Pomona, class of 2021. I am currently a psych coordinator for Pomona High School. I work with Pomona Unified School District. I also get to travel. Last year, I got to travel for the HBCUs with like a bunch of students that we chose. I've traveled once, I think this year, for the Power of Me, and I got to like tell everybody about how my story was. I do like a lot of different tasks on campus, but for right now, I'm just waiting to get into school for my master's program.
Graduate school. What are you going to study in graduate school?
I want to do like the clinical mental health counseling for the LPCC or the MFT degree.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Delia, for joining us. Miss
Delia, I need you to.
Jordan.
Hi. You're working at.
Oh, go ahead, Faith. What are you saying?
She's working at my rival school.
Oh, uh-oh. Okay. Let's take a deep breath on that one. Okay,
All
Jordan,
right.
introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Jordan. I'm currently an event management student at UCF. I attend a hospitality school, and my goal is to go into the music industry. So after college, I hope to pursue a master's degree um, and probably a graduate certificate as well.
Excellent. Excellent. And you also have started your own event production company. What do you call it?
My own event production company.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I don't know if I've made that yet, but
In your heart, in your head. That's okay. That's okay. We talk about it all the time. That's okay. I'm going to pull it out of her. You see how humble our students are? They're just so humble. I love it. And then we have Mr. Henri. Henri,
Hi, how you doing? My name is Henri McKnight. I'm a business major at Morehouse College. I am a junior, and I plan on going into the media industry after college.
excellent. Excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
What it is that we're talking about today is how you guys are moving. You guys are been going through school from kindergarten all the way up to college. You really never stopped. What does it feel like now that you're approaching this end mark where you're about to graduate in the next year or within a year? And how does that make you guys feel? Anxiety, stress, happiness, finally it's over. Just speak your truth. How do you feel? Anybody can start.
It's all of that. It's the anxiety of what are my next steps, but it's oh my god, I'm finally done with school. This is what I've been waiting for forever. But then it's also like fear of what if I don't do? What if I step into the wrong room? What if I do wrong? Like, there's that fear to it. But then it's also relief. I am a college graduate. I am going into my career. I'm fully like, I'm at a space where I'm in adulthood now. Like, college is, oh, I can still kind of, run back to mom. Hey, mom, can I borrow $20? Hey, auntie, I need. But it's like now I'm about to be an adult. Like, I'm a full
Mhm.
adult. And yes, I can still lean on them for help, but like, I have a career now. Like, it's different.
It is different. It is different. It's a different world out there. That's why they made that show, a spinoff from the Cosby Show, A Different World. You guys remember that show? I don't know if you guys watched it growing up, but I sure did. Tanisha, you know that show. It changed our lives because it actually affected what the real world is going to be like outside of college, making decisions for yourselves. Jordan, how do you feel about graduating soon?
I'm thrilled to graduate. I'm so excited, and I feel like I'm ready for the next step.
Yeah. And what is that next
It's
step?
no hard work.
What do you think that next step should be for you? Should be for you?
Well, I want to be an event manager for tours and concerts. So, if I can just be an event manager full time, that would be my ultimate goal.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Henri, how do you feel about graduating in the next year or so? How do you feel about the whole thing coming to an end and now going after whatever it is that you aspire to go to school for?
Yes, ma'am. It's very nerve wracking. It came really really fast. Especially being one who graduated in 2020. I don't know if anybody else graduated in 2020 in here, but it was really really crazy. We were rushed out of high school. You know what I mean? So I felt like I'm kind of being rushed out of college too, but it's not due to a pandemic. Time is really just moving really really fast. I feel a little bit anxious as of right now, but as I get closer and closer to getting up out of school, I'm excited for the next steps as well. I plan on getting my MBA from another college, right after I leave, and I'm excited for that. But I'm also pretty anxious. It's a lot, having to deal with my networking ability. I have to learn skills every single day. I also have to, send in the application somewhere every single day. You always have to be working. You always have to be building your resume. But in order to keep busy, you got to keep it. You got to keep your head. So I'm learning to deal with it, day by day.
Day by day. That is true. It is a day by day thing. And Delia, you're graduated and now considering and actually pursuing graduate school. And most people here, they all said that they want to go to graduate school. What does that make you feel like? I mean, you're working now with us and helping students like these young people here. And what does it feel like to be pursuing actually a master's in some other related field?
For me, I think in general, like I didn't have a college experience, and I say that like everywhere I go because I graduated high school with like a year of college done. So I only went 2 semesters like physically in person to college, and then the other 2 years I graduated during the pandemic. with my BA. So I really didn't have that social interaction or like just physically going on a college campus and like looking at clubs and interacting with people and having like even all these opportunities that you guys talk about or that we give like to the high school students, like internships, scholarships, all of that I didn't have because I wasn't connecting with people. Like everything was online. So graduating for me was scary, especially since I'm a first gen. When I graduated, my parents were like, oh, okay, like I guess in my head, I thought like, oh, I would have a career, like I'd get paid so much money, like I would fix people because I wanted to be a therapist. So I was like, oh, like I would just apply and I'd get in because I have a degree. But reality is like it doesn't work that way. Like you have to keep going to school. And even like I graduated 2021, so ever since I've applied, this is my third round of applications that I've been doing for graduate school, and I have not gotten accepted. So it's kind of frustrating because you spend a lot of money, and it's like you can only build experience so that you become a better candidate, but it's kind of hard to get into like the programs that I'm getting into. So right now, I feel a little lost if I'm being honest. Like I help all these kids and I give them like advice and I tell them what I would have wanted to know, but like I for me to be able to like be a therapist or be a counselor, I would have to continue going to school. But until I get in, there's like so many possibilities of like what you can do, like getting a job or just like figuring out what kind of job I would have that would gain the experience for me to go back to school.
Mhm.
So it's honestly like in your head you think of all like the your goals and how you're gonna get there. But when you actually finish school, like if you're not really prepared or you don't ask questions or you don't have guidance, then it makes it a little bit harder just to navigate it.
Well, good. This is opening up the conversation a little bit more. Do you guys relate to this? Tanisha, you can chime in too. Like you working with young people. How do you guys all feel about what each one of you guys, do you guys relate to anything that was said from one another? Don't speak all at once.
I can relate. And it's
Yes.
also just sorry. It's interesting seeing like people coming from so many different backgrounds, all trying to do like similar things, and in college, everybody has a different perspective on how they want to go about things and where they come from. So I feel like it's just like a learning process, and I feel like anyone can really become anything they want to. It's just a matter of putting your mind to it.
Yeah. Henri, what were you going to say?
I was actually gonna agree with what the young lady before the last young lady said, as far as when you leave college.
Mhm.
I understand that. I'm not one who has left college yet, but I talk to a lot of alum, and a lot of them do tell me, take advantage of the opportunities and the people that you meet now while you're in college, because after you leave college, the connection is a lot harder to make. And kind of learning that as I'm leaving college, it's not as many opportunities to go into the field that I want to go into, as many as they were offered when I was a freshman, when I was a sophomore, when I really didn't know what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? But ultimately, I also agree with what Jordan said. If you want to do something and you really, really, you stick to it and you connect yourself with the right people, somebody's gonna find. If you're doing what you have to do, somebody's gonna find you. Regardless of where it may be. You may not want to work to a certain position, you know, at that point in time, but if you continue to work, you continue to, go through the proper loopholes, you'll end up being where you want to be.
So, Tanisha, how does this all make you? How does it make you feel hearing it from our young people, like their aspirations? And I know you went back to school too, just recently. I mean, how old are you? And don't ask. You don't have to tell me your age, but you know what I'm saying. Like, it's been some time since you've been in your undergrad, so you have a little good gap. And I went back to school, so you guys know. Um, 20 years after my undergrad, I went and got my master's, almost 20 years. So it was really, different because I was already a mom and, had a full career, and I had to like manage all that, but it wasn't impossible. But how do you relate to all this, Tanisha?
I mean, I understand where all of them are coming from because during undergrad it was a little harder for me to navigate. I went to school off by myself with no friends, and I had to kind of build my own network of people. So hearing how you all feel, the one thing that comes to mind is use your resources. Um, in this day and age, there are so many resources that are out there for you. And two of you on the call, you work for one of the major resources that you have. Um, I My grad school experience was a little different, mainly because when I was coming out of undergrad, like I had built a resume that was crazy. So like I had schools like USC and Pepperdine who were offering me money just to apply. But what I've come to learn is you got to learn how to navigate that world of grad school now. Nowadays, a lot of things rely on what you put on paper. What are you writing about? Because everybody nowadays has a good grade at point average. Everybody has something now. So, what are you doing that makes you stand out? And that's kind of where I started navigating it. And I'm in grad school now. And the only reason, honestly, that I'm in grad school now is because of the resources that I've been able to use because of it. Before, like after I had one bad experience with grad school, I was not going back. So I
Like,
was
well,
able.
wait, let me stop you right there. I mean, not to put salt on any school. We're not going to do
Mhm.
that. But how did you have a bad experience? What So these young people can know what not to set themselves up for and protect
Yes.
themselves?
Yes. So the bad experience came from me going into an institution that wasn't for me, that wasn't for people of color. They weren't going to accommodate me in any light, is what I came to learn as I was going through the program. Um, I had an experience where I was doing my research. I was 6 months into my research, and then was told that because of the topic of that research, it wouldn't be approved, and they wanted me to start completely over with something different. And when you start poking at stuff, that they don't want to be opened up, it becomes an issue. So they ended up discrediting all of the research that I've done, and basically told me either start over or there's nothing we can do.
Mhm.
So I ended up just
And your
going back.
research was related to
Yeah, my research was related
your research was related.
to how students of color
Mhm.
are being treated in the educational system in Los Angeles County.
Wow. Mhm.
Yeah, and they didn't like that very much, so they told me I had to start over. But I soon realized that when you come from an HBCU and you're used to the HBCU way and how those professors and admin work, when you go into a PWI system, you're going to be culture shocked. Like, oh my God, nobody's calling me, nobody's emailing me. I missed an assignment. Nobody cares that I missed this assignment. And that's what it was for me. I had gotten so accustomed to the HBCU way, I ended up just going back.
Wow. So let's talk about it real quick. What are your guys' dreams? Like, you guys mentioned event production, starting and running a business, helping people in the or just helping people in general, whether it's through psychology or healthcare or just, education. Why? What is your why? And how did college help you go after that dream for you guys? Anybody can go.
I'll go. So, what I want to do is I want to own a couple community centers as well as foster homes, group homes specifically for teens, specifically Black and queer youth. And my goal is to become a resource hub of mental health resources as well as just helping so that way when people hit 18 and the system's like, okay, well, you're grown now, but they don't know what that means. They don't know what budgeting means. They don't know how to go grocery shopping. They don't know how to essentially survive on their own. And so I want to become a resource so that they're not just out in the world lost and homeless. If you want to go to college, we're going to go to college. You want to go to trade school, we're going to go to trade school. You want to start a business, we're going to start a business. But essentially giving them the tools and the resources and steps to do that. That's my big, like, long term goal. Um, and in the meantime, I kind of want to work at elementary schools as a school psychologist or a school social worker. Social worker. And my why is just because our youth is literally all that we have. We are nothing without our youth. And so I don't think that at any point they should just be left without resources, without guidance, without help, without support. And so I kind of want to become that hub to where anyone can have that support. Anyone can have those resources because there's no reason they should be gate caps. Like, why are we not teaching our kids how to budget money and then are surprised that no one knows how, like, no one has any savings? Why? No one knows how to budget their money. Why does no one know how to budget their money? Because they weren't taught. That's stuff that used to be taught in schools that's no longer taught.
Right. I
Why are
love
we
it.
running out of things? Like, there's so many things that people don't do or don't know to do when they literally
Mm.
can just be for them to learn it.
Excellent. Well, that's congratulations. I love that dream. That's beautiful. Anybody else want to share?
I can
I'll
go.
go.
I can go now.
Oh,
Uh,
you can go.
ladies first. Ladies first. You're fine.
Okay, thanks. So for me, I think my why came after I graduated. Like I always thought like, oh, I wanted to be a psych major because I wanted to understand people a little bit better. Because I always felt like no one understood me. So I wanted to learn about people, like why they are the way they are, why they think a certain way, everything. And then once I graduated, I started working for NCRF, and then I started working with kids and a variety like of cultures or like Spanish speaking students that I had that have a similar experience to mine. So then I started realizing that in the Latin community, we don't believe in mental health. And that is like a majority of why those kids suffer in school and just in life in general is because they're not understood, because they are taught that you have to like behave a certain way or you have to act a certain way or like you can't think a certain way or you can't feel all of these other things. So now my why is going back to school and being like either a counselor or a therapist that doesn't only work like within the healthcare system but also in schools, like being able to go and be that voice for other people that are like me so that there's a better understanding of what goes on like with mental health and like what resources that there is for people to get the help that they need.
I love it. I love it. That's beautiful. Henri? Uh-oh, you're talking and you're muted.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. After getting my MBA, I'd like to go into the media business, more so in the realms of sports media. I want to work on podcasts, different rounds of journalism, sports social media coverage, and I want to basically be in a broadcast position, and I want to build on that, and I want to make my own business, my own media coverage business, focus more so on people of kind of from small towns who don't get as much media coverage. I feel like
Mm,
that could really benefit from this. I see so many people, especially how I came or where I come from, they were really, really great at what they did concerning basketball or football or any other, thing. And they just didn't have a lot of media coverage or anything like that. So they ended up not getting the funds for college or not going to college in general and giving up on the dream. And I kind of hate to see that. So it kind of stuck with me. And it's always been something that I wanted to do. But as
excellent.
far as yes, ma'am. But as far as
Mm,
my why, I would say pretty much is basically how I came up. I'm from a really really small town in Virginia. It's called South Hill. Neither one of you all have probably ever heard of it. You probably drove through it a couple of times, but it's a really really small town in Virginia, and yeah, we really don't get as much media coverage or as much attention in our school system or education system or anything like that. I didn't realize what an internship was until I got to college and I met people who had, had internships and whatnot. So I just ultimately, I want to get back to my community and communities like mine, and communities not like mine. Ultimately, I just want to make a big difference and a big change, especially bringing on, people, and I want them to accomplish their dreams and chase them and feel like they can, achieve that thing. Because I feel like with our generation, especially the generations coming up, nobody really feels like they can do anything because, especially we're in the age of social media, so we always see the end point, we always see the end goal, we always see all the money, we always see, the accolades, we always see the person get the Grammy, but we don't see them person, in the studio for hours and hours at a time. But the only reason why we don't see the person in the studio is because nobody shows that. I want to show that. I want people to see what goes on, and what happens and how hard these people are actually working, So that's basically my dream.
I love it. That's
Yes, man.
beautiful. I like the fact that you mentioned small town.
Yes, man. Most definitely.
You took a spin on it. Like that would be fun to be a sports broadcaster or own a sports, a news outlet or something of that nature.
Yes, man.
But you took a spin on it and you said, I want to focus on the small town. And I haven't heard that before. I
Yeah.
haven't heard that before.
Yes,
That's pretty
man.
awesome.
Thank you.
This is why we're doing this, because I want to hear from you guys. All of you guys have so far, I mean, it's blowing me away. Go ahead, Miss Jordan.
I feel like I can deeply relate to the things that you guys mentioned that you were passionate about doing because, in my day to day experience, even me being in college, I definitely can say that I have utilized the resources that the college I go to provides to kind of advance and find more opportunity or at least just like try something new. So that's awesome because, that's definitely the way to get out there and explore what you're passionate about. Um, so I love music, and with that, I kind of just want to bring that to other people and spread like the love that I have for music to others through like live event production, and maybe like disc jockey as well. But that's in the works. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do. I've worked at a lot of live events in my area and stadiums and arenas, and I just had so much fun. So I want to do that for a long time.
Mm. And just all this being said, what is it about college that inspired you to go to start to pursue that dream? Like some of you guys have these experiences where this is the first time or the first, you're the first person that's in your family has maybe have gone to college fully on and considering getting your master's. That's another experience. Do you guys feel that college was necessary to start your dream?
I don't, not at all.
Ooh,
You
you
can
go
share.
first.
That's good, Jordan. Come on. You don't feel it was necessary to start your dream. Why is that?
Because a lot of the things I've done, like college definitely helps. It gives you like, a direct major, like you're given the coursework to learn about exactly what you want to learn about. Like that stuff is great, but it's definitely not stuff that you can just find it on Google. So, like as long as you know how to network and like, use like basic resources, like definitely college is not necessary. But it is also like worth the investment that you are paying for, but you get what you pay for. That's kind of how I think about it.
Right. You do get what you pay for. And if you close mouths, I say closed mouths don't get what? They don't get what? Fed.
Good.
And if you don't speak up and ask questions to your professors and to the people who you're paying your tuition to, how are you going to get the responses you need? You're going to walk around like a zombie and then you graduate. And what happens? You're out there in the real world. It's like, I could have done this on my, like, if I would have known better, I would have asked more questions so that I can make sure I get what my tuition paid for. Who else want to chime in about that? How has college, either shaped your experience about what your career path was going to be, or kind of made it feel like was it worth it?
I feel like it was worth it for me. Um, Ultimately, I'm at a good school to do what I want to do. Networking is probably like the top priority at Morehouse College. They teach you how to network. They teach you how to be well spoken. They teach you how to, basically navigate through the business, through the business of where you want to go. I felt like coming here, I was able to access the I was able to access the tools that I was never given where I was at. Like I said, I'm from a small town, so coming here and being able to network with different people and meet people who actually have these high paying jobs or high position jobs or just being in these positions of authority, I've been able to meet countless people while in school. But I also can say that I feel like being in Atlanta is a good place to be too. So I may be jacking that hey, Morehouse is the way, but maybe it's just Atlanta. But ultimately, I feel like coming to Morehouse kind of shaped my networking ability. So I say school has been worth it.
Well, you did pick a school in the one of the hottest as far as places for black wealth
Yes, ma'am.
and influence. It's you just I mean, there's so much going on in Atlanta versus Charlotte, North Carolina versus
Yes.
Chicago, Illinois that we've visited, some of the team members here. I've traveled all to our 15 different markets, and I tell you, Atlanta is, if you want to thrive as a black person, if you want to have experiences that kind of share this cultivating experience between business, entertainment, and
Yes,
other,
ma'am.
Atlanta for blacks is just the place to do it, especially if you're young. You'll learn a lot.
Most
It's
definitely.
easy to find opportunities out there as far as amongst people who look like you.
Yes.
But it's harder in places that don't look like you. Like Tanisha, shared, like she's trying to share a real issue within the education system and what's happening. She's getting denied because her counterparts can't identify. And that is the number one issue across education straight up for minorities, especially black minorities. So, you know, I don't understand what the problem was, but hey, that's their loss that they didn't keep you on because you could have shined a light to the subject, right, Tanisha?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely the truth.
Yeah. So in general, you guys are going after these big dreams, and the world out there has shown you what it's. You guys went to school during a pandemic. You had to navigate through that system. What encouraged you to stay focused while the pandemic was going on, while the social unrest and all the issues that were happening on the streets and still to this day are happening? What makes you want to continue to go after your dream and not say, forget it, I'm just going to get a regular degular and just go to
Um,
work?
well, this kind of goes into the past question, um, but I don't think that I would be able to fully complete what my end goal is without my degree. But also, on a more selfish level, my mom went back to school during the pandemic as well. And I feel like if she can do it with a full time job,
Mhm.
I should be able to do it. But also, you're not about to get your bachelor's before me. I don't think that's fair. Because you're going back and it's my first time. So like it's a little selfish in that way, but also because I don't think I could do what I want to do without going to college and being able to network and get the research experience. And I don't think I would fully have an understanding of exactly what I want to do. When I was in high school, I was like, I want to be a therapist. I do not have the attention span to listen to other people explain their heart and their feelings. I would have been so terrible as a therapist
Mm-hmm.
because I wouldn't have known that about myself. I wouldn't have acknowledged that part about myself if it wasn't for going to college and going into these classes and then fully explaining what it is I'm going to be doing. Because it's not just listening, it's you got to pay attention to body language. You're paying attention to everything that they're not saying. You're thinking back to the past sessions. It's a lot more than just listening, and I would have never known that if I hadn't actually sat with someone who was a therapist and was like, yeah, you have to find X, Y, and Z. You have to recount X, Y, and Z. You have to be able to research X, Y, and Z. I never would have known any of that.
Excellent. Anybody else want to add to that about just figuring it out if college was definitely for you, and adding to the conversation? Are you guys relating to one another with all the stuff that we're talking about? Let's just start right there. Are you guys still relating to one another, or do you guys find that this is, it's just the same old, same old? I could have done this a little bit different because you guys are aspiring for so many different things. Like I said, the world has to offer, but how are you going to actually apply it to your real life? How are you going to graduate? When you graduate, how are you going to actually take your life lessons you learned in college and say, now I am ready? Do you feel like you're going to be ready upon graduation?
Yeah, most definitely. I feel like I'm gonna be ready. Mostly because during college, especially like you said, through the pandemic, there was a lot going on. I went through a lot personally, but I do feel like it made me a better person. um Kind of growing up, I kind of got everything easy, and it wasn't like got everything easy in terms of, oh, money was no option. No, it was like I got everything easy as in like I was one of those kids. I didn't study much, but I always got A's. Or I didn't have to really try to get this application in, or I didn't really have to do too much as far as getting into college or getting a job or anything like that. So the pandemic kind of introduced hardship to me, so I feel like going through the pandemic, and not only just the pandemic, but afterwards, life after the pandemic, going through as much as I went through, I feel like it made me a better person. So I have no choice really but to be ready for whatever is coming next. Because whatever is coming next, you can only go up from here. And I feel like I've seen my lowest. So I do feel like I'm ready, most definitely.
Oh, that's excellent. I like that. Jordan, how do you feel about stepping out into the real world and starting to do the darn thing? Being an event producer, managing and, you know, creating from start to finish something that you aspired to do your entire life pretty much.
I think there is an abundance of like work opportunity out there, at least in the industry that I'm going into. So just kind of knowing that in itself relieved the pressure off of me that, I need to work, I need to hustle, I needed to do this right away. So and other than that, it's kind of just me figuring out how I want to present myself when I start working, um, and what kind of events I want to focus on, narrowing down like what exactly I want to do so that my time, my energy, my value is being reciprocated.
Hmm. I love this. I love how you guys are all optimistic. You're not only optimistic, you're half glass full on every subject that we're talking about, despite the obstacles, despite the setbacks, despite, man, I could have Googled that. Like, I know more now than, I did, but man, this was easier than I thought. Were you guys, was college what you expected for you individually?
No.
Okay, you're shaking your heads.
No, ma'am, not at all. College
What
was
does
not
that
what I
mean? What does that mean?
I
um
feel like college is very similar in the way that like when you're like 8 or 7 and you're sitting watching High School Musical and you're like, oh my god, high school's gonna be amazing. And then you get to high like in middle school, you're like, okay, it's not gonna be that exactly. Obviously, that was fake. But it's gonna be fun every day. We're gonna have parties. We're gonna go to class, and it's gonna be so much fun. We're gonna go to the cafeteria, and then you get to high school, and you're like, this is not it. And I feel like I've been bamboozled and I've been scammed. Um, so you realize like what you see in movies, what you see in TV, it's not too far off, but it's not it because you're here for an education, and of course, what they're showing is entertainment. So while yeah, during homecoming it's a party every day. Cool. That's homecoming. That's 1 week, babes. You still have 4 other months of school. It's not going to be like that every day. And so kind of just having to switch your brain off from what you see and what everyone's like, oh, this is what everyone posts on their social media, and this is how that school's going to be, and da 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 da. And it's like that's what that's like when they're partying. That's what that's like when they're having fun. That's not what it's like when they're going to class every day.
mhm.
So kind of just having to switch off what you see and what you can Google to this is academics, and these academics lead to your life career. People are
Hmm.
very much here for a reason, and you can play with your money if you want to. That's really how I look at it. At the end
Wow.
of the day,
So how was it for you, Henri? I saw you shaking your head. Was college what you expected going in and
Yes,
eventually
no,
living? No, yes and no.
no, ma'am. It was not. It's not what I expected at all. Morehouse was my dream school. So I'm really persistent. I'm one of those guys. I know what I want, and if I want that, that's what I'm gonna get. So I applied to one school, and it was Morehouse College. Dear old mother Morehouse. I love Morehouse College. I have a lot of love for Morehouse College, but it's not what I expected. And I'm not saying in terms of the school, it was just my experience. I thought it was gonna be a lot different. I thought I was gonna come here, and I thought I was just gonna be the man. Like I thought, I thought I was gonna come here. I thought I was gonna get every opportunity. I thought everybody was gonna talk. Like I thought I was gonna get every scholarship. I thought everything was gonna be perfect, and it's just not. But Morehouse has taught me to work hard and be persistent. That's basically
Mhm.
probably my biggest lesson learned while being in college. Be persistent, because there is going to be a struggle, a obstacle, and a problem at every turn. The simplest things are going to be the hardest things to do, and the hardest things are going to be the even hardest. So it's like it's kind of it's crazy. But I will say, um, college is an experience. You know what I mean? Especially going to an HBCU. I don't feel like there's much you can prepare for. It's literally like you have to live through it. It's simple as that. You go, you get your experience, and you leave. You probably hear 1,000 different experiences from 1,000 different people. But ultimately, it's not what I expected. But what I expected wasn't realistic either. So, um, yeah, that's basically what I have to say about it.
Mm, Tanisha, what do you want to chime in? Because I see you shaking your head and all this.
Well, I chose a smaller HBCU because everybody knows it's no secret. I'm very, very, very introverted. I like to be by myself. I
What
don't go out.
HBCU? Yell it out loud. Come on now.
Yeah, I went to Talladega College. The Alpha Lower Vega of them all. In Talladega, Alabama. It's one of the smallest HBCUs out there. It's in a small town. Like you've got a Walmart and a McDonald's basically. And I thought that I was gonna be fine, right? Nothing. So the experience that like Andre was looking for is the experience that I got at Talladega. And I was like, this is not what I signed up for. There was a lot going on. Mainly because like our Greek life on campus was huge. So there was always a barbecue at the Q Stone, or the AKAs are strolling down the road. Like there was always something happening. And in terms of like that work life balance, it was easy to maintain, but it was a struggle, like give and take from time to time. So college is different depending on what you choose to do. Like you may choose a smaller school and go, hey, I'm choosing this smaller school because it's gonna be a little calmer, and then you get there and you end up in a party down the street and there's a lot going on. You're trying to figure it out. So yeah, that was my college experience.
Wow. Jordan.
Um, so for my experience, I can kind of relate to our fellow in the live stream that I definitely knew what I wanted. Like I wanted to go to this school, and I had some backups, but I was set. And I also feel like college kind of it met my expectation in some ways, and then in other ways it didn't. Like for example, like the party aspect, like especially if you're like in a fraternity or sorority, like that is pretty real. Like that shocked me because I experienced being in one of those for a semester, so I know. But outside of that wasn't my cup of tea, so step back. But when it comes to like class and everything, like that was pretty much consistent, especially since I did community college before coming into university. um so yeah, and I feel like a lot of us young people, like we don't have anything to compare, what reality is like versus like movies and TV. And half the actors in TV shows and movies aren't even college age, which is really funny to see now because I'm like, why are we even like, this makes no sense, why are we comparing, but I think it's really, the best thing to do when you go into college is just like be the main character. Like don't, this is about you, this is your time to grow, to explore, so just focus on that.
I love it. I want you guys to tell the audience who's full of not just young people like yourselves, but also industry leaders, experts, recruiters who also listen into this show. Tell them who you are and why you will be an asset to their organization. What do you bring to the table? Um, you can take a pause for a second, to kind of gather your thoughts. And Delia had to step off, so she's amazing. She spoke for herself, but if she is she back on? No, she's still. Oh, there she is. Oh, Delia. Oh, you should have texted me. Hey, I thought you were gone. Real quick. Did you hear the question? They were while everybody's gathering their thoughts. Uh, Before I'm gonna let you say how was college what you expected when you went for your undergrad, or was it?
Um, for me, no. I think I went in having like an expect. Okay, so I'm undocumented. So before I even applied to college, I wasn't gonna go to college. So I'm a DACA recipient, which means that having DACA would allow me to be able to apply to any college or university. So before I got that, my parents are undocumented, so they don't have an education. They only went to like sixth grade.
Mm.
So for me, I thought like, oh well, I would have to figure it out because they don't have. I can't have a job. I can't go to school. Like I would have to do what they do. And when I got DACA, everything changed. So I was excited to go to school because, like, for me, going to college wasn't really about like just learning or getting to know, but also like figuring out who I was as a person and what I wanted to do with my life and how I was going to help other people that were like me. So when I started going to college, no one in my family has gone. So to them, it was like, oh, it's just school. But I think I was a little cultural shock when I started, and it was intimidating because I didn't go. I didn't like my friends. My friends didn't go to college, so I was the only one, and it was scary. And I think I struggled a lot, especially because my level of English isn't where everybody's level of English was because I'm bilingual. So I speak Spanish a little more than I spoke English when I started. And it was difficult. I struggled so much. I would have to do like double the work just to get good grades, and I did pass, but I think like for me it was more like getting to know the people around me, finding like who I can ask for help, where I would get the like stuff to print, like where I was going to get financial aid or where I was going to get the money. Like my parents are strict, so I never got to live on campus. I never got to do the partying or all that fun stuff. It was just more me going to school and having a full-time job, so trying to juggle both. And I mean, for me, it was a very interesting experience. I think towards the end, I got like it became better because I stayed in one specific school and I made like a lot of friends. And because like your last 2 years, you're usually in the same cohort with the same people. So it made it easier for me to like do my assignments and just get things done because I had the same people around me. But yeah, that was my experience.
Well, everybody's had some different, but also some similarities. I think everybody can also say all together and collectively that college wasn't what they expected. I went to a high school for the arts on a college campus. So I was in college while I was in high school. It wasn't what I was expected when I got into college, but I was so used to going to college that it didn't like matter. It was just more independent study, so to speak. It was just more everything you have to do on your own. But I also went to a very independent high school, so kind of went with my independent mindset. So I guess I don't count. Let's set myself aside. But long story short, going to graduate school was not what I was expected at all. It was a total culture, and because I was over 20 years of having college and high school experience where we didn't have online anything. Everything was researching on in books in the library. The internet was a dial-up system, and it was a long process. So my my point is that when I get into my graduate program, everything was online. It was a total shock, and I was out of school for a long time, and it really discouraged me for a minute. The first class, I almost failed because I didn't understand how to navigate through the college system online. And then I had to focus and just seek the help from my resources, and then I got it. And I use all the tools I can gather to make my time management even better. And then it just worked. My question that I last asked was, talking to our audience, who is made up of not just young people like yourselves, but also of industry leaders and experts, such as recruiters and companies that are listening in and want to hear from you. Who are you and why? What do you have to offer a company? Why would you be the person that they should pick? What is it? What is it about yourself that really is that spark? You're a student on the move, but what is it? What makes you so special that Dr. Price says are superstars? Anybody can start.
I'll start. I think I'll say my superpower is probably my persistence and my willpower. I'm one of those people. If you ask me a question today and I don't know it, I'm not gonna tell you I don't know it. I'm probably gonna figure it out and then come back and tell you, the answer. I like to figure things out as far as, you know, just basically handling business, and not only handling business, but fixing problems. I'm one of those people. I want to keep going. I always want to elevate. I never want to look behind, or I'm one of those guys. I don't say I miss high school or whatever the case may be. I want to enjoy where I'm at while I'm there.
Mhm.
So I try to make things better for myself in the future, and I don't really try and look back or anything like that. And my persistence and my willpower takes me there, and it literally it's my driving engine. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. I want to always be working towards something, even if I achieve the goals I've set. After that goal, I want to set another one. And I'm not to say I want to be or dissatisfied or anything like that or greedy, but I feel like everyone should want something for themselves and want more for themselves. So I don't only want more, and I'm not only persistent, and my willpower is not only above the roof, but I'm gonna always figure out the problem, solve it, and I'm gonna continue to go past where you think I should go. I'm gonna give you more than what you asked for, constantly, every single day, regardless. It doesn't matter. It's gonna happen.
I love it. You're hired. Okay. Who's next? Who's
Thank
next? Who
you.
wants to go next?
I can go. So
Okay.
I'm a perfect candidate because in my industry, I have a lot of experience already. Pretty much ever since like leaving my parents' house, I've been applying for you know, applying and researching for in every event company, anything related to the music industry, trying to look into their internships, see what I'm interested in. And I've also used like my local network living in Tampa and Orlando to get experience. So I've done internships at venues. I've worked with real life like music artists. I met some people from like freelancing that are also in the industry, and like they're my close contacts, so I feel like I have a lot of real world experience to offer to like any job because I've done it on my own, like outside of school, outside of work.
She's already an entrepreneur and so humble about it. I
Yes,
love it.
ma'am.
I love it. Come on now, event specialists.
Yeah.
Um, who else wants to go?
Okay. So I am growth. I am continuously growing. I'm continuously working towards growing and learning something new and understanding. And so I will forever be in a student's place, regardless of how many degrees I have. Um, I'm going to constantly be striving to be new and be different and to change and to adapt and to figure stuff out. And I feel like being that I want to work with kids, that's what you need to do. You need to be able to learn from the kids and learn about the kids and learn who the kids are. But you also need to be able to learn how to adjust with the kids, with the new generations, the things that they do, how they act, how their behave, their slang, whatever it is the case may be. You must always be willing to learn from them, learn from the supervisors, but being able to learn to grow and to grow with the generations that are coming.
Okay, I love it. Who's next?
Me. So for me, I think that I used to one of the things I laugh at now that I used to really be ashamed about is to talk in my native language. But I think that now, like being able to work with the students or with the staff, or even traveling and being able to use my second language, I think that that's something that is like my superpower. I'm able to understand other people and help them out and articulate how I feel or express what they need to know in another language. But also, I think my compassion for people. I love people. I go out of my way just to make sure that they are okay, or even like at my job now, like students who feel stuck or feel like they have nobody. I like to help them and make sure that they are okay. But I think being a counselor or a therapist or whatever I decide to do, I think it's good for me to be compassionate and understanding, because that's what you need to do a bit like a really good job. You need to be able to understand where other people are coming from or who they are in order to be able to help them.
Awesome. Tanisha, what would you say to our young people and also for yourself, because you aspire to expand your education? What do you have to offer, just in general? And what could you say to our young people to as we close out?
I would say keep going, and believe in the path that's been set for you, because we all know that we're not in charge of where we're going and the road we're on. Be confident in the way that you step, and always stand, 10 toes down on whatever it is that you're doing. Whenever your back's against the wall, find a way out of it. You got to keep pushing forward and fighting forward with it. And even for myself, being confident in what you put forth in the work that you do. Know your skill set, know your worth, and then charge to it. You know what I mean? You know what they say: charge your worth and then add tax. So that's where we are with that. And I'm open and available for any mentorship, anybody who needs assistance in any light. And continue to use your resources, continue to use what's available to you. Your network is your net worth. Do what you got to do to get to where you need to be.
Well, thank you, Tanisha. And this has been an excellent conversation. Have you guys enjoyed this conversation, being able to share who you are a little bit better to our audience, to the world? Did you guys enjoy that?
Yes, ma'am. Most definitely. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And also, this was an opportunity for people to not just hear from some of our superstar students, but also to understand that recruiters sometimes miss the mark, and they assume you're what you are on paper, but that is not even the beginning of or half of it. Um, you're more to that if you can share your story in your resume and in your cover letters and in your interviews. You already have gained an insight on how to do that just by having this conversation. But now let's see how you can apply it to the real world. We wanted to encourage young people and other people who are going back to school to not be discouraged, no matter if the school is predominantly not looking like you or has all the resources and support you need, but you still are just kind of just undecided. Don't get overwhelmed. You will get there when you're ready. You will get there when it's time, and nothing is by chance. Everything is because it's already kind of in your pathway and it's ordained. It's just choosing the choices that matter at that moment, making the right choices, because you always have two choices, a right one and a wrong one. And you know what the wrong ones are. So we encourage you guys to continue to do this. Again, my name is Mrs. Denise Parker. We want you to go to college or seek some type of great opportunity that will prepare you for life outside of high school or college, so that you have a wonderful career and go beyond your wildest dreams. My name is Mrs. Denise Parker, and thank you for joining us. Until next time, see you soon.